While this is taking place, Brittney Griner comes out and says, I am so sick and tired of the WNBA. It used to be a peaceful, small little thing. Now there's crowds screaming, hollering. This is disruptive. It's not allowing us to play the game. This is her quote. I don't know if you saw this or not when she gave that.
One of the hardest reality checks I've ever heard on a show was just delivered by Patrick Bet David. Brittney Griner made a contentious remarks about Caitlin Clark and alluded to racial concerns that immediately sparked a conversation.
From 41. What the hell is going on with WNBA that they cannot handle all this attention that they're getting, as well as the hate and anger?
PBD, however, didn't believe any of it. He brought up Griner's incarceration in Russia and put an end to her grievances about noisy fans. People were left wondering which was more fulfilling as a result of his unrelenting response. PBD telling Griner about her history or listening to him justify why she ought to value the attention. The WNBA is at last getting it.
I'd have fun with you. Brittney Griner, what she says, right there, watch this. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching.
Since Brittney Griner, let's be open about what transpired on Patrick Bet David's podcast. Got a reality check that she most likely didn't anticipate. As she was critiquing Caitlin Clark's surroundings. After making remarks with racist overtones, PBD brought up a number of unsettling details that she appeared to have forgotten. Following a return to basketball. Griner's assertion that the WNBA was once tranquil was the beginning of it all. And sufficiently quiet for someone to bring a laptop and work while playing games. Take a moment to consider that. Professional athletes are talking about the boisterous and intensely passionate spectators. Considering who made the complaint, it's unexpected.
To be a chill, quiet place, you could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. You are! The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some light racism.
According to Griner, WNBA games used to be quiet and serene, but today the arenas are crowded with supporters who yell non-stop. From the stands, she also expressed dissatisfaction over feeling under pressure to perform since people want to be entertained. However, professional sports are precisely about that. The most contentious portion was when she said she had seen a father and daughter applauding from the audience. Although she couldn't hear them clearly, she surmised that they were either minor racism or criticism of her play. She used that phrase to describe how supporters reacted. While playing basketball, many issues were made regarding her viewpoint because her initial thought was racially motivated. Patrick wagered that David answered honestly. He reminded everyone that Griner had lately been imprisoned in Russia due to severe legal issues and was ultimately returned home in a prisoner exchange that resulted in the release of a convicted foreign national. The merchant of death is an armaments trader.
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this.
In order to obtain Griner's freedom, Victor Bout, a man found guilty of conspiracy, had to be traded. To assist terrorist groups and murder Americans, the United States consented to trade that individual in order to return Brittney Griner to her family.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena. In every arena. So, and then when you clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The merchant of death.
The merchant of death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens.
And after making it back to the U.S. safely and having another opportunity to play her favorite game in front of enthusiastic. The loudness of the people was her main grievance. Supporters. PBD contended that an individual who would typically place a far higher importance on freedom and opportunity if they had been imprisoned in another nation. Griner seems to be troubled by the enthusiasm of his ardent supporters rather than enjoying them. The timing of her comments. The fact that they arrived at a time when the WNBA was experiencing unprecedented levels of popularity and financial expansion made them much more contentious. the league is getting close to $1 billion valuation for the first time in its 25-year existence. And Caitlin Clark's dedication to women's basketball has contributed significantly to that trend. Griner's criticism of the same crowds, excitement, and other factors made her remarks even more noteworthy. And enthusiasm that are boosting player pay, broadcast viewership, and league revenue, her comments about race also attracted attention because they mirrored worries other players had about Clark's quick ascent. PBD recognized that Clark's. He stressed that although her race might contribute to the attention she gets, her talent more than makes up for it. Clark plays an energetic style of basketball and placed fourth in the MVP voting during her second season, and engages in fierce competition that draws admirers from all around the nation.
NBA says they want to get paid more. They're saying this year they're going to make $1 billion. That's what they're saying, okay? For the first time ever. Now that Caitlin Clark is hurt for 2 weeks, did you see ticket prices? Insane. Let me read you the ticket prices. After Caitlin Clark's been hurt for 2 weeks. All right? So let's go through this. Caitlin Clark absence is having an immediate impact beyond the court. According to data shared by Yahoo Sports via TickPick, prices for 2 specific Indiana Fever away games against the Chicago Sky and the Washington Mystics dropped sharply after Clark was sidelined. Before the injury, the lowest ticket available for Fever's matchup in Chicago was $86. For the game in Washington, fans needed at least $41 to get in. After the news of Clark's absence, those get-in prices fell to $25 from $86 and $14.
The ticket sales that PBD emphasized in the podcast revealed the precise source of funding for the WNBA's achievement. The cost of Fever tickets very immediately decreased when Caitlin Clark was hurt. Tickets for Chicago dropped from $86. Washington tickets went from $41 to $14, while the price dropped to $25. They weren't small adjustments, they were significant drops that occurred as soon as the league's main draw was removed. Griner's grievances over boisterous audiences seem even more unexpected when you consider that many WNBA games were played in front of modest crowds for over 24 years. Players become accustomed to that setting because there was minimal accountability to paying fans, as well as less pressure and expectations. All of it was altered by Clark, and not everyone adapted well. Griner went so far as to say that the former WNBA was a place where someone might use a laptop to complete work during a game, which explains why the league had trouble drawing attention for a long time. Rather than viewing games as significant athletic occasions, many took a much more laid-back attitude. The league lost money for decades as a result of that mindset. The reason PBD's response was notable was he wouldn't allow Griner to change the topic to victimization or racial disputes. He concentrated on the facts. After being released from a Russian prison, she was offered another opportunity to perform in America and is currently making more money due. The league's popularity has increased. However, she complained about the loudness of the supporters, his contrast with other experts. League strengthened the argument players in the NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL must contend with unfriendly road arenas and boisterous spectators constantly. That's only a part of the work. According to Griner, WNBA players must to relish the benefits of professional sports without taking on the burden of entertaining paying spectators. No major sport functions like that. Additionally, PBD reminded everyone of her imprisonment in Russia, making her grievances seem even more unrealistic. Someone that went through the stage of adversity would typically value freedom and opportunity far more. He talked about the disappointments as well. Some WNBA players have opinions about Clark's ascent, although he acknowledged that certain emotions are reasonable. He clarified that the emergence of a once-in-a-generation player affects every sport. He likened it to Michael Jordan, who experienced animosity and physical altercations due to his significant influence on basketball, not because the media exaggerated his worth.
And she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year.
Wow.
Outstanding. She's like Steph Curry. She can pull up from anywhere. You understand? She has that kind of capability. Didn't win a national championship. Lost to LSU one year. We lost to South Carolina another year. But she's outstanding and clearly worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. And what I was saying to everybody is ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats. The girl is spectacular. It's not like she's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who draws this attention. And maybe it's because that fan base that she has and her being a young white lady.
Clark follows the same trend. There are actual statistics to support the attention she is receiving. Sales of tickets, social media activity, item sales, and television ratings all amply demonstrate her influence. Inside the league, these are not media reports or opinions, they are quantifiable facts. Griner's remarks regarding racial fan comments and undertones got much more contentious because they presumed bad motives from those who were just eager to watch basketball. Implying that a father and daughter applauding from the stands were. Racism was the driving force behind a mindset that prioritized distrust over gratitude. Additionally, the podcast disclosed that some WNBA players were unprepared for the pressure that comes with being well-liked by the general public. The league was in operation for a long time, without harsh criticism, high standards, or continual media attention. When Clark arrived, that was altered by increasing accountability, exposure, and norms. PBD's statement of appreciation had additional weight due to Griner's international expertise. After escaping incarceration in Russia, many anticipated that she would cherish every chance to compete in front of American spectators. Rather, her remarks were more critical than complimentary. Maintaining the league's financial stability is crucial. The thrill that Clark has generated. If players criticize the energy of the crowd and drive away casual fans, or presumptions regarding racism, the league runs the risk of facing financial difficulties and empty stadia. Griner's comments were made during the best financial period, which exacerbated the situation. Time in the history of the WNBA, instead of contributing to the expansion of that momentum, she chose to concentrate on what she perceived as issues rather than acknowledging the advantages. Because of his business background, PBD has a distinct viewpoint because he recognizes that contented player salaries are funded by the money that fans generate. Whining about ardent clients is akin to whining about how fast business is expanding. That way of thinking demonstrates a miscommunication of the real revenue generated by professional sports. PBD also contrasted the circumstances with those in other entertainment sectors. Actors don't berate audiences for being emotionally committed, and singers don't whine about boisterous concertgoers. Throughout a performance, creating excitement for those who purchase tickets is the main goal of entertainment. Griner's remarks implied that she desired the advantages of more fame without acknowledging the attention and pressure that inevitably follow. That just isn't professional work in sports or entertainment. Although the racial issues she brought up are significant social issues, using them as an excuse, the truths are simply obscured by fan enthusiasm or market reality. Clark's appeal is bolstered by quantifiable outcomes rather than racial presumptions. PBD acknowledged the complexity of these discussions while simultaneously making it was obvious that Griner had to own up to her remarks. He did not overlook worries regarding race, but he also wouldn't allow them to take the place of the unmistakable proof of Clark's influence on fan interest and promote growth. His recall of the prisoner trade was particularly potent since it emphasized how much was given up in order to return Griner home. A convicted foreign arms dealer was exchanged by the U.S. for ensure her release. That remarkable effort proved the true value of her independence. Her complaints about boisterous crowds and her presumption that ardent supporters had racist intentions made those comments sound much more disjointed. One may anticipate that someone with that background would value every opportunity to perform in front of encouraging audiences. PBD's main points were about appreciation, perspective, and seeing opportunities rather than concentrating solely on grievances. For decades, the WNBA tried